So Gary, how did you get into astrology?
Oh man, my journey to astrology is really kind of incredible. It's almost too incredible to believe at times. Like looking back on it now, for a long time it was so fresh for me that I never really thought about it. But looking at it now, sometimes it's almost too much even for me to believe myself, because I kind of started out being disillusioned with traditional schooling. You know, we were talking about the whole jump from third house to ninth house and how you skip the Virgo and everything, and I just wanted to get the hell out of the university schooling system and everything, and I just took off and started hitchhiking around the country and just really living. You know, I was 21 years old. I wanted to live, and somebody gave me a pack of tarot cards at a rainbow gathering. And they were like, "You're supposed to have these," and I'm like, "Okay," you know. He's like, and I was like, "Well, how do you know that?" And he's like, "Well, you look wise." And I was like, "Well, how do you know I'm wise? You know, I might just look that way." And he's like, "No, you look that way because you've had experiences that have made you that way." He's like, "You know, I want you to have these. This is the best way to get a deck of cards, right, is as a gift." And I didn't know any of this at the time. And so I started playing with the cards, doing readings for people that I knew and stuff. And eventually I got pretty good with them and was doing them, you know, in bars or street corners or whatever, and when I needed some money or whatever. And but I hadn't studied anything about astrology. And then I came back to the East Coast, and I got in this relationship for the first time in my life. I got really kind of rooted, and it was like that rooting made a space inside me for something to come in, I guess. And I had this dream, and in the dream I'm lying on my back in a field of green grass, and I'm just like blissing out, you know, and I'm looking up at the sun, and I realize I can look right at it. And I'm looking at the solar disk, and it's all fiery and beautiful and everything, and emblazoned in the disk was the symbol for Venus. And normally, in my limited Aries fashion, I would, oh, I'm going to meet a woman. But I was already living with a woman, so I knew that wasn't it. And I decided, well, this has got to mean something, right? So I got an ephemeris, and I figured out basically my chart, at least the positions of the planets, right? And then I figured out what was going on is that Venus was transiting my sun on that very day when I had that dream. So it was like the Venus was emblazoned in the solar disk. Literally, that's what was going on up there. And I was just like, whoa, you know, I got to find out more about this. So I got some books at used bookstores and just started reading, and next thing you know, and this was at the Uranus-Neptune conjunctions, by the way, I should add that, you know, so there was like this, you know, a lot of energy going, and I found out since then that there's a lot of people who had spiritual quickenings around that time, and who also, you know, found astrology at that time, or had a major, you know, quickening in their astrology career at that time, or whatever. So after that, it was just like, it was in me, and it was something I had to do, you know. It's like that quote where Carl Jung talks about the artist is not a person endowed with free will, that basically, you know, they are the instrument of the art, you know, and that's kind of what astrology is for me. It's like I have to do it. So I, you know, I've been doing it for more than the Jupiter cycle now, and hopefully, you know, I'm doing it better and better as the time goes on.